We have reached the chapter on Mahr, Dowry. But before we start reading that, there's just a little bit of information from the prior chapter that I didn't read for you last time. And so the author, the explainer that is, he says, concerning the issue of reneging on the marriage because of a defect found in the spouse. ويشترط في العيوب المذكورة الرفع فيها إلى القاضي. It is a condition for the mentioned defects, yani to use them to break your marriage contract without a divorce, male or female, that the case be raised to the Muslim judge. ولا ينفرد الزوجان بالتراضي بالفسخ فيها. And the spouses are not, they do not have the right to break the marriage contract unilaterally. لا ينفرد. No spouse has the unilateral right, that means from his own side, he can break the marriage without the say of the other. He cannot, neither spouse, neither the husband or the wife has the right to unilaterally dissolve the marriage contract because of these defects. And then, yeah, the rest of that, we'll put that in parentheses. Could take the amount that I gave you here. There, yani, a person, what are those defects? If you recall, there's 5 of them on each side. There's defects that exist in the male, in the husband that is, and defects that exist in the wife. What are those? Insanity. Also,
impotent.
Leprosy. Also, maybe that's gangrene, or maybe it's a type of necrosis, al-judham, or maybe it's something else. And also, for the male to be missing a penis, or to be impotent, meaning he cannot achieve. How he defined it here, he didn't just say he cannot achieve an erection. He said here in the definition in the book, he is unable to have vaginal intercourse. Yani, an erection, so that he can have vaginal intercourse. So that's the definition. Say it like that. Like, say it the way you learned it. And for the woman, for her vagina to be sealed by bone or sealed by flesh. So those are the defects that allow a spouse to break the marriage without a divorce, without using a divorce. We are saying here, neither the husband nor the wife can, even though he or she discovers this defect in this new spouse or in the spouse, he cannot unilaterally dissolve this marriage contract by this defect. He must go through a Muslim judge, he or she. Any question here before we proceed?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Can you hear me?
Salam wa rahmatullah. Hold on.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So since it won't be charged as a divorce, it'd be can we use the word annulled?
Maybe you can use the word annulled. I never avoided that word for any reason other than it didn't cross my mind. So I usually just say breach the contract. I have been saying reneging on the contract on the marriage. So maybe annulled works fine here. Amin wa fiq. Okay. Now the author starts to talk about the mahr, the dowry. Let's read the text at the top of the page first before we read the explanation. And so the author says, Fasl section. ويستحب تسمية المهر في النكاح. It is recommended to name the dowry in the marriage. Some people, they don't like the word dowry. They say it doesn't really match. The English word dowry doesn't match what we want by the Arabic word mahr. The Arabic word mahr is a payment that goes from the husband's side to the wife's side in our Islamic marriage contract. To the wife's side means to the wife, not to her family. So the mahr is not something that the woman pays, nor is it something that goes to the woman's family and as opposed to the woman herself, nor is it something that goes to the husband's family. So all of this talk makes some of our good brothers and sisters avoid using the word dowry for mahr. I got accustomed to it, and I don't know another translation also, so I use it for now. So I'm going to say dowry, and it means I'm going to use it, yani, to mean what we mean by the word mahr, not more. So it is recommended to name the dowry in the marriage, yani, in the contract, while doing the contract. فَإِن لَمْ يُسَمَّ صَحَّ الْعَقْدِ. And if it is not named, then the contract is valid. Here's the explanation of what's on this page. فَصْلٌ فِي أَحْكَامِ الصَّدَاقِ. Section about the rules of dowry. But the explainer, he used the word sadaq, and that's another name for the mahr. Yani you have mahr, and you have also sadaq, and there's other words too for the dowry. وهو بفتح الصاد أفصح من كسرها. With the fatha on the sad, when you say sadaq, that is more proper or more eloquent than saying sidaq with kasra on the sad. مشتق من الصدق بفتح الصاد وهو اسم لشديد الصلب. Okay, let me put that in parentheses here. وشرعا اسم لمال واجب على الرجل بنكاح أو وطئ شبهة أو موت. Religiously, what is the dowry? It is the name of money, of some money. It's the name of some money. Although the dowry can be a benefit too, doesn't have to be money only. So this is how, this is the definition that we are going to work with here. We will see, inshallah, if Allah enables us to move up to level 3. Is there a more scientific definition or an alternative one? We'll see, inshallah. Well, this is what we're going to go by here. When you study a book, when you learn your religion, when you study a book, then study that book. And when you have a test in a book, then produce the definitions in that book, produce the proofs in that book, and don't pull from other books for your test. Rather, prove that you studied the book that you are involved in. Don't prove that you studied another book. So, religiously, shar'an, it is ismun limal. It is a name of some money. Limalin wajibin ala rajul. Money that's obligatory on the man. Why? What makes it obligatory on him? Binikah, a marriage contract. Oh, wat'i shubha, or a case of mistaken intercourse. Oh, maut, or death. So what's that? What's that definition of mahr? It is the name of obligatory money, of money obligatory on the man because of, or it's obligatory by a nikah, a marriage, or wat'i shubha, a case of mistaken intercourse, oh, maut, or death. As for marriage, you know about that. That's what we are talking about today. As for the case of mistaken intercourse, yani, there's cases when a person, he might accidentally have intercourse with someone. Accidentally means he wanted to be with his wife, but it was other than his wife, and it was pure accident. Not case of zina here. And maybe you don't conceive how such a thing could happen. And I think we had this discussion before. How could such a thing happen? Well, don't think like a Westerner here. What does that mean, thinking like a Westerner here? Thinking like a Westerner here means, no, not slave. Yani, this case of mistaken intercourse could happen with persons, yani, with someone. What does it mean, thinking like a Westerner here? I'm telling you, don't think like a Westerner, because Westerner, if you think like one, then everyone has electricity. All the people in the world have electricity. All the people in the world have toilet tissue. All the people in the world have the internet and clocks. That's what I mean when I say don't think like a Westerner here. That's to make it more difficult to understand. How in the world could there be something called a case of mistaken sexual intercourse? Now, I'm not prepared to go into some details. I mean, even if I had it prepared, I probably wouldn't go into that now. Just want to make you understand the definition here. The definition of the dowry is not restricted to a marriage. Could be that because of other than a marriage, you have to pay a mahr. Yani, I told you before a story the Sheikh Samir told us. He says a real story, which is that a man married a woman, but he didn't see her yet. And this is some people living in some village somewhere. I don't know where. Are they in Ethiopia or what? I don't know. A man marries a woman. He didn't see her yet, though. And she even moved into his place. But his lifestyle is that he works every day and he must leave to go to work before Fajr. He's still there, Isha time, and there's no electricity. And he doesn't come home until after Maghrib. This is his lifestyle. He must go to work before dawn and he doesn't come home until after Maghrib. But one day he came home early. He got off early. He came home before the sun went down and he found a woman standing outside his house. So he asked his neighbor, "Who is this woman?" His neighbor told him, "That's your wife." Okay. Everything's this story has a happy ending here, alhamdulillah. But the point of the story is just to broaden your horizon here. How could there be something that's called mistaken sexual intercourse? Oh, mode, or it could be that because of death, a man has to pay a dowry. Yeah, I mean, he married a woman and she died. And he has to pay her dowry because she died. Her death made it obligatory on him to pay the dowry. And then if you say, well, who's going to pay it to? She died, then yeah. No, that means he pays it to her heirs. He goes to her family and says, this money, this is Fulana's dowry. She has passed away now. Her death made it obligatory on me to satisfy this payment. So here I am fulfilling my obligation. Take this money. It goes to her heirs. Please distribute it properly as per the religious rules. Okay, so this definition right now could be explained in a better way. So another time, bi'ithnillahi ta'ala, maybe you're going to get better explanation of this definition. But I hope, inshallah, what I gave you tonight will pacify you for now. The explainer says, وَيُسْتَحَبُّ تَسْمِيَةُ الْمَهْرِ فِي عَقْدِ النِّكَاحِ. It is recommended to name the dowry in the contract of the marriage. وَلَوْ فِي نِكَاحِ عَبْدِ السَّيِّدِ أَمَتَهُ. وَيَكْفِي تَسْمِيَةُ أَيِّ شَيْءٍ كَانَ. And it's enough to name whatever it was. Whatever the dowry was, to say that, to name it by what it is. ولكن يسن عدم النقص عن 10 دراهم. But it is recommended to not be less than 10 silver coins. Islamic silver coin. To not be less than 10 Islamic silver coin. وعدم الزيادة على 500 درهم خالصة. And it is recommended to not be more than 500 silver coins. Pure silver coins. Recommended, not obligatory. It can be less than what we have mentioned here. It can be more than what we have mentioned here. These numbers reflect what the Prophet ﷺ accepted for himself or for any of his daughters as a dowry. وأشعر قوله يستحب بجواز إخلاء النكاح عن المهر. And when Abu Shuja said it's recommended to name this dowry This gives the impression of the permission for the permission for the marriage to be devoid of a dowry. Yani, to not name a dowry in the marriage contract, to do a marriage contract without a dowry named. وهو كذلك, and that's true. فإن لم يسمى في عقد النكاح مهر صح العقد. And so, if no dowry is mentioned in a marriage contract, the contract is valid. وهذا معنى تفويض, and this is the meaning of tafweed, which is when the woman says to her guardian, give me away in marriage without a dowry. ويصدر تارة من الزوجة البالغة الرشيدة كقولها لوليها زوجني بلا مهر أو على ألا مهر لي أو على ألا مهر لي فيزوجها الولي وينفي المهر أو يسكت عنه. And so how would that happen? Sometimes it would be by a mature, pubescent wife, meaning a woman who wants to get married, saying to her guardian, marry me off without a dowry, or marry me with the condition that I don't have a dowry. Marry me off, give me away in marriage under the condition that there is no dowry for me. Who was saying that a mature Rashida, a mature Rashida, pubescent, baligha woman who wants to get married. Mature means she's not immature. Yani, she's not a fool, with the meaning that she can take care of herself. فَيُزَوِّجُهَا الْوَلِيُّ, and then the guardian will give her away وَيَنْفِي الْمَهْرِ, with a denied dowry. Yani, he would give her away by saying, I give my daughter in marriage to you without a dowry. Or, oh, yaskutu an, or he will merely not say anything. He will just say, I give my daughter in marriage to you. وكذا لو قال سيد الأمة لشخص زوجتك أمتي. And this also covers the case when a master, a slave master, the master of a slave woman says to a person, I give my slave woman in marriage to you. وَنَفَى الْمَهْرَ أَوْ سَكَتْ, and then he denies any mahar. And he says, not for a dowry, or he's silent. He just doesn't mention a dowry. That's all valid. وَإِذَا صَحَّ التَّفْوِيضُ وَجَبَ الْمَهْرُ فِيهِ بِثَلَاثَةِ أَشْيَاء. So there's something as if it is not clearly stated here. What if the marriage contract was done, وَسَكَتَ عَنِ الْمَهْرِ, they were silent about a dowry, yani there was no mention of a marriage contract in the dowry, but she never said to her guardian, give me away without a dowry. That part never happened. Rather, what would be the case if all that happened was merely they did a marriage contract without naming a dowry? Then also the dowry is, the marriage is valid, bil ijma', by consensus. The marriage is valid by consensus. Okay. So what's the difference between that and what we are talking about? There's a difference, which is that in the case that she never told her guardian to give her away without a dowry, but they just happen to not mention any dowry, then she will deserve what? Who can tell us? What will she deserve? Why? Four.
What the woman, her status deserves?
Correct. Then she deserves what a woman of her status deserves, what a woman like her deserves. Yani, she does deserve a dowry, although no dowry was mentioned. Although no dowry was mentioned, she does deserve a dowry because it's not her case that she told her guardian to give her away without a dowry. Okay, she deserves a dowry. But now we talk about a woman who told her guardian, give me away in marriage without a dowry, or give me away in marriage under the condition that I don't have a dowry. And then her guardian gave her away in marriage under the condition that she has no dowry, or he gave her away in marriage without any mention of a dowry. So you can't mix this here. He gave her in marriage without any mention of a dowry. Don't mix this here. What makes the difference? The difference here is that mature pubescent woman told her guardian to do this. And then he did a marriage contract without mentioning a dowry. Or a master gave his slave woman away while denying a dowry, or he just didn't mention one. Here, in this case, doesn't matter if the slave woman said, give me away like this or like that. No, because we're talking about a case of a slave woman. But in the case of a free woman, it would have to be the case that she told her guardian, give me away without a dowry. So now this is what we are involved in. Yani, it's clear for you. If it was just normal marriage contract, no talk about give me away without a dowry, just normal contract, but they didn't say a dowry, she deserves a dowry. It's clear for you. And that dowry will be what a woman like her takes. Now is the case. We want to finish unraveling. We want to get to the bottom of this case when she told her guardian to give her away without a dowry. What did the explainer say? وَإِذَا صَحَّ التَّفْوِيضُ وَجَبَ الْمَهْرُ فِيهِ بِثَلَاثَةِ أَشْيَاء. If this, let's say, relinquishing of the right to a dowry is valid, when this relinquishing her right to a dowry is valid, وَجَبَ الْمَهْرُ فِيهِ بِثَلَاثَةِ أَشْيَاء. A dowry will still be obligatory under three conditions, by three things. In the case when it was valid that this mature pubescent woman relinquished her right to a dowry, when that's valid, she still gets a dowry. بثلاثة أشياء, by three things, under three conditions. They are أن يفرضه الزوج على نفسه وترضى الزوجة بما فرضه. For the husband to take it upon himself what he's going to give her. The husband, he supposes what it should be, and she accepts what he supposes. So number one is for the husband to suppose what that dowry should be. And the wife accepts this part. وَتَرُضَ الزَّوْجَةُ بِمَا فَرَضَهُ. Put this in parentheses too. I'm remembering there's a detail there, more than what's on the page. So we'll review, inshallah ta'ala. أو يفرضه الحاكم على الزوج, or for the judge to impose a dowry on the husband. The judge will suppose what it is and tell the husband, this is what you shall pay. ويكون المفروض عليه مهر المثل. And this, whatever was supposed, would be, yani, would have the status of the dowry of a woman like her. ويشترط علم القاضي بقدره. And it's a condition that the judge knows the amount of this. أما رضا الزوجين بما يفرضه فلا يشترط. But when it comes to the husband and the wife accepting what the judge supposes it should be, that's not a condition. أو يدخل أي الزوج بها, or he consummates the marriage with her. He, meaning the husband, consummates the marriage with her, meaning the wife. أي الزوجة المفوضة, meaning the wife, the wife who's relinquishing her right to a dowry. He married a woman who relinquished her right to a dowry, and then he consummated the marriage with her قبل فرض من الزوج أو الحاكم, before he himself supposes what the dowry should be, and before what a judge supposes what the dowry should be. فيجب لها مهر المثل بنفس الدخول. Then the dowry of a woman like her will become obligatory on him by the very consummation. So we are saying what? A mature, pubescent woman, total guardian, yani, a mature, pubescent woman relinquished her right to a dowry. So she married a man under this condition. And then he consummated the marriage with her, she still gets a dowry. ويعتبر هذا المهر بحال العقد في الأصح. And what that dowry should be, a dowry of a woman like her. And how do you gauge that dowry of a woman like her? However she was at the time of the marriage contract. How was she at the time of the marriage contract? That's what you go by. Like, what if now you're trying to figure out something, but y'all did the marriage contract some time ago? Maybe when you did the marriage contract, she was skinny and now she's not. Or maybe she was not skinny then, but now she is. Just examples here. So then these make difference. Or maybe she has baby now, she didn't have a baby then or something. All these things make a difference. So now we want to determine what's the dowry of a woman like her. Based on what? Based on however she was at the time of the marriage contract. وَإِنْ مَاتَ أَحَدُ الزَّوْجَيْنِ قَبْلَ فَرْضٍ وَوَطْءٍ وَجَبَ مَهْرُ مِثْلٍ فِي الْأَظْهَارِ. And if one of the two spouses dies before supposing what the dowry should be, and before consummation, then the dowry of a woman like her is what is due. Yani the death made that obligatory. وَالْمُرَادُ بِمَهْرِ الْمِثْلِ. And what's meant by a dowry of a woman like her is قَدْرُ مَا يُرْغَبُ بِهِ فِي مِثْلِهَا عَادَةً. It means the amount of, I'll just say, it means an amount that is influenced by what makes her more or less desirable for marriage. Normally, it is an amount that is influenced by what makes her more or less desirable for marriage. Usually. So, like I mentioned for you before, what's going to make her more or less desirable for marriage? Her age, her beauty, her virginity or lack thereof, her having children or lack thereof, and other things. You know how to go from there. Also included in that is her knowledge and her ability to speak well. And her family, maybe she comes from a noble family. So let me read what's in the top of the page here. The bare text without the explanation. Some of it we already covered, but I just want to read the text alone. Let's strip the explanation out and see what Abu Shuja said. He said in just the text only, Faslun fi sadaq. No, sorry. Faslun section. وَيُسْتَحَبُّ تَسْمِيَةُ الْمَهْرِ فِي النِّكَاحِ. It is recommended to name the dowry in the marriage. فَإِنْ لَمْ يُسَمَّ صَحَّ الْعَقْدِ. If it is not named, the contract is valid. وَوَجَبَ الْمَهْرُ بِثَلَاثَةِ أَشْيَاء. And the dowry will be obligatory by three things. أَنْ يَفْرِضَهُ الزَّوْجُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ. For the husband to suppose what it is on himself, to impose it on himself. Yani, for the husband to impose it on himself. And then he's going to pay it to her. أو يفرضه الحاكم, or for the judge to impose it on him. أو يدخل بها, or he consummates with her. فيجب مهر المثل. And then what would be obligatory is the dowry of a woman like her. وَلَيْسَ لِأَقَلِّ الصَّدَاقِ وَلَا لِأَكْثَرِهِ حَدٍّ. There is no limit to the minimum or the maximum of the dowry. وَيَجُوزُ أَن يَتَزَوَّجَهَا عَلَى مَنْفَعَةٍ مَعْلُومَةٍ. And it is permissible to marry her for a known benefit as opposed to money. Yani. ويسقط بالطلاق قبل الدخول ويسقط بالطلاق قبل الدخول نصف المهر. And dropped by divorce before consummation, half of the dowry. Half of the dowry is dropped by divorce before consummation. Okay. Now back to the explanation. The explainer says, وَلَيْسَ لِأَقَلِّ الصَّدَاقِ حَدٌّ مُعَيَّنٌ فِي الْقِلَّةِ. The minimum of a dowry does not have a particular limit. Does not have a particular limit. وَلَا لِأَكْثَرِهِ حَدٌّ مُعَيَّنٌ فِي الْكَثْرَةِ. Nor does its maximum have any particular limit in abundance. Yani, there is no limit. Neither a minimum nor a maximum. That's the Shafi'i school, not a consensus. بل الضابط في ذلك أن كل شيء صح جعله ثمنا من عين أو منفعة صح جعله صداقا. And the rule about that is that anything that is valid, anything that can be a valid price, anything that's valid to be a price or have a price, anything that's valid to have a price or be a price, min aynin aw manfa'a, whether an object or a benefit is like a service, sahha ja'luhu sadaqa, then it would be valid to make that the dowry. So according to that, it means she could say, all right, my dowry, I want my dowry to be for you to fix my plumbing. That's valid. Because that's a benefit that is valid to apply, to put a price on it. It's valid to put a price on that. So he's saying anything valid to be a price, or to have a price, to be or have a price, is valid to be made a dowry. وسبق أن المستحب عدم النقص عن 10 دراهم وعدم الزيادة على 500 درهم. And it has already passed that what's recommended is to not be less than 10 silver coins, nor to be more than 500 silver coins, And by the way, they spelled the word mi'ah here. As far as I know, that's wrong. Mi'ah should be spelled with an alif, a silent alif, an alif that's not pronounced. Mi'ah.
Maybe it's better to use monetary value rather than price.
Say again, please.
That it should have, like it's better to say monetary value rather than
monetary value.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he used the word themin. Themin means price.
Okay.
Value.
One you can.
Qima, usually, as far as standard translation, usually they're going to translate value from the word qima. Ma qimatuhu, what's its value? The themin is the price. Say ma thamanuhu, I want to buy it. Ma thamanuhu, what's its price? Just I'm talking about standard translation only.
Okay, jazakallah khair.
آمين وفيكم. ويجوز أن يتزوجها على منفعة معلومة. And it is permissible for him to marry her for a known benefit. Known means not ambiguous. Like not just to say, teach me. I want my dowry to be for you to teach me. So this is not known. It's not good enough. كتعليمها القرآن, rather like teaching her Quran. ويسقط بالطلاق قبل الدخول نصف المهر, and by divorce before consummation half of the dowry is dropped. أما بعد الدخول ولو مرة واحدة فيجب كل المهر. As for after consummation, even one single time, one instance, all of the dowry is due. وَلَوْ كَانَ الدُّخُولُ حَرَامًا, even if this consummation were forbidden, all of the dowry will be due. كَوَطْءِ الزَّوْجِ زَوْجَتَهُ حَالَ إِحْرَامِهَا أَوْ حَيْضِهَا, like for the husband to have intercourse with his wife while she's in a state of ihram or while she's menstruating. The dowry will be due. وَيَجِبُ كُلُّ الْمَهْرِ كَمَا سَبَقَ بِمَوْتِ أَحَدِ الزَّوْجَيْنِ, and all of the dowry will be due, as already mentioned, by the death of either one of the two spouses. So that goes back to the definition. A dowry could be due because of death, could be due because of a mere marriage contract, or it could be due because of death. لا بخلوة الزوج بها في الجديد. It's not going to be fully due by mere privacy, by the husband merely having a private moment, no third person, like just to take her home, for example, or be in a room alone with her or a hotel alone. Without consummation, no, only privacy, not more than privacy, no consummation. This privacy is not enough to verify for her that she deserves the entire dowry if you were to divorce her without consummation. That's the Shafi'i school. And that is the new Shafi'i school. It's not the Hanafi school, though. If you marry a woman in the Hanafi school, know that mere privacy will make the entire dowry due. وَإِذَا قَتَلَتِ الْحُرَّةُ نَفْسَهَا قَبْلَ الدُّخُولِ بِهَا, and when a free woman commits suicide before consummation, لا يسقط مهرها, her dowry is not dropped. بخلاف ما لو قتلت الأمة نفسها, that's a free woman we were talking about. That's different from a slave woman if she were to commit suicide. أو قتلها سيدها قبل الدخول, or if her master were to kill her before consummation, فإنه يسقط مهرها, then her dowry is dropped. Wallahu a'lam. Allah knows best. Any question?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
The woman who deserves a dowry after consummating the marriage, and she gets killed. Does those who inherit from her get that dowry?
Their marriage was consummated and then she was killed. But she didn't get her dowry yet. Then it goes to her heirs.
Okay, got it.
عفوا شيخ السلام عليكم.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
For the one who marries by the Hanafi madhab, do you know if there's something that's maybe recommended? Like if one didn't request that it would be teaching of the Quran, rather that which...
That's not valid in the Hanafi school. According to the Hanafi school, it has to be money.
It has to be money. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Barakallahu feekum, Sheikh.
Ameen wa feekum.